Well, if you hadn't guessed it already, I'm in Mogadishu, Somalia. Unbelievable, right? It is the strangest thing ever because I actually was born here and I've never lived here though, strangely enough. The last time I was here, I was a toddler. It was 1989 and it was before the Civil War. So for me, it feels really surreal being here because I grew up on a lot of the stories of my mum's childhood. So everything that she used to tell me about what it was like growing up here, the people, the culture, the food, the surroundings. That's kind of like my fairy tale stories at bedtime. And to be here after 20 odd years of civil war and then reconciling sort of the way things look now, the way things are now with all of these stories that I grew up with is really, really strange. And it's actually quite weird that I'm here on a professional capacity where it feels a lot like a personal journey. And I'm really anxious about the sort of things that I'm going to see while I'm here, particularly the women that we're going to speak to and the problems that they face during labour and the sort of complications that have happened during labour and birth. So I don't know what I'm going to hear and I don't know how I'm going to feel about it. But coming here anyway, it's a bit like a homecoming for me. And although I stick out like a sore thumb, I kind of feel at home, which is an odd thing to say. I mean, I look so different to everyone else. People are looking at me and stopping to kind of figure out why I'm here, who I am, and all of these things. But I still feel at home. So it is, as well as being here professionally, it does feel like a personal journey. So I'm really looking forward to the whole experience of being here personally and professionally. And I don't think that I'm embarrassed to say that I felt quite emotional, coming down on the flight. We were kind of, the airport is right on the coast, and it was at that point that it really felt like, oh gosh, I'm coming home. And I remember looking out the window, the little window on the plane, and looking down at the coast and thinking, oh my God, this is home. This is where I was born. And there is this superstition here that, wherever your umbilical cord is buried, this is where you will die. so this is kind of like, as it were, my final resting place. So yeah, apprehensive, but also looking forward to the journey here.
I'm here in Mogadishu, a place that's been ravaged for over 2 decades by civil war. And it's not just the infrastructure that suffered here, but also the people, in particular the women and children. I'm here in Daynila district, in a hospital that's been set up by a group of volunteer doctors called Physicians Across Continents, who were here to treat women suffering from obstetric fistulas.
Physicians Across Continents programmes are implemented and monitored through the presence of over 215 staff based inside Somalia, including Mogadishu and Kismayo. PAC also provides medical equipment support to Puntland and Somaliland. The overall objective of PAC is to improve the health and nutrition status of its patients, contributing to reduce maternal and mortality rates within the community. PAC is also one of the main partners selected to roll out EPHS to improve health services coverage and strengthen the health system in the Daynila district. PAC doctors are making a real difference in the region, especially in the Daynila General Hospital, which was previously struggling due to a lack of medical equipment and personnel.
We've let
Dainila General Hospital. We've just been told that we can have an interview with Mariam Qasim, who is the Minister of Natural Disasters. So this is a pretty big deal, so hopefully she'll be able to give us some information on the severity of the situation here in Somalia, especially concerning the drought.
In the UK, you don't know about fistula because there is a good health system in place. But when health systems fail, in those fragile countries, post-conflict countries, the health system is very fragile. So if there is no health system in place, then as a consequence, you have many things. Among them is the fistula. The main issues are of different types. The first one is the health issue. A woman who has suffered fistula, she needs the fistula to be repaired. That is the health issue. But there is also the social issue, the psychological issue, the psychological impact that fistula has on women. Those women who live with fistula, they live with shame. They don't know what to do with their lives. Some of them, when you ask them, they tell you, I prefer to die, because it is shame, it's shameful, she's smelling all the time, and people don't know about fistula, so it is a kind of humiliation.
Ayaan met one of the young fistula patients to find out her story.
The doctors saw me and they told me to walk around. Then after they assessed me, they said they couldn't help me. They couldn't do anything for me. But PAC and the hospital staff were great. They couldn't even take $5 from me for the bed. God willed it that I found out about this hospital. If we would have come here before, we would have been welcomed. Whatever we needed, we were given. I am very grateful, especially as I don't have my mother and father here.
Physicians across continents has been operating in Somalia since 2011, providing primary and secondary healthcare services in the biggest mother and child hospital in Somalia, Banadir Hospital, in partnership with Ministry of Health and donor agencies. Ayaan went home to another patient's house to find out what difficulties these patients of fistula have to face.
magacaaga ii sheeg baa
Baltuun Maxamed Nuur
meeqa sana jirtaa
16
goorma furunku kugu dhacay
sanad ka hor soo dhaafay
cuniga koowaad mu aha
haa
marka ii sheeg markaad foolanaysa ma hospitaal baad joogtay mise guriga ku dhashay
isbitaal
marka maxaa dhacay ka bacdi cunigii markuu dhashay
waa dhashtay virus ahay wali soo jiiri markii la soo jiiray aadan dhibkaan isku arkay asaasa dandaynay loo sheegay soo baxnay
goorma marka iga sheekay marka noloshaada sidoo isu bedelmay sidoo furunka noloshaada ka bedelay
may kaarar leewa kaarar oo isku socota leewa
marka
lugtaan bas
marka lugtana daawaca ka gaarin
dareen malaha lugta
hadda yaad la nooshahay yaa ku caawiya
ayri
ninkaaga ma kula joogaa
waa kala
tagteen goormaad kala tagteen
9 bilood ku soo wareegatay
maxaad rajaynaysaa in dhakhaatiirta ay ku qabtaan
sida ilaahay caafimaad igu siiyo aan u sugayaa
marka igala hadal marka furunka markuu dhacay ma bixi kartaa ma soo shaqaysan kartaa dad ma soo arki kartaa mise waxaasaytii oo dhan waad ka joogsatay markuu furunka kugu dhacay
markii furunka uu dhacay shaqo dhan iska dhaafay ina ilaahay caafimaad isiyo fadhiga daway dhiba
marka maalimadaada iiga sheekay maxaad qabataa intaad guriga joogteed
wax ma qabtaba dhabarka xanuuna iska jiifaale jiif ii socod leh waay
ma ku weydiin karaa sababtaa ninkaaga kaaga tegay
naag oo xanuunsan nin maraba kaari waa socotay mara la igu jirto ii kastuu ma basleen kashana hooyadiisii aabihiisa isoo fureen
marka hooyadiisii aabihiisa marka kuma faraxsaneen marka inaad jiratay
faraxsaneen
isaga ma raba inuu kula sii joogo mise dareenkiisa sida waalidkiisa ahayd
waalidkiisa ahayd
After her fistula condition, her husband doesn't want to be with her. Ayaan then spoke to her aunt, who has been through a similar experience.
شكري محمد
meeqa sanaa jirtaa shukri
تضبي لا تنسنا
goormaad furantay
مدة لبسنا صح مكان
goormay kugu dhacday sababtay kugu dhacday maxay ahayd
عنق يوري و isku furanka
marka
saxarada iyo kaadida iyaga
markaad furantay ma hospitaal baad aaday qof wax ku qabtay ma jiraan
ma wax ay qabtay ma jiraan hooyaday iyo aabahay gobolay jiraan wax ma haystaan anigana ana ilmaha u weyn waxba ma haystaan
ninkaadana
ninkii waa ifriyay
markaad dhashay ka bacdi
markaa dhala waa ifriyay oo saacilada uu ah
marka meeshaad joogtay qof kaa caawiya ma jiray oo mise dhakhaatiir ma joogin meeshaad joogtay
dhakhaatiir ma joogin wax iga caawiyana ma helin dhakhaatiirna ma joogin wax aniga caawiyana ma helin
marka muddo 2 sano baa xanuunkan ku haya marka intaas 2 sano oo dhan ma waxaad raadinaysay dhakhaatiir mise
dhakhaatiir meeshana dhakhtarkana tiifiga ka fiirsaday ayaa soo aaday oo imaado dhowr jeer wax ka qabtay meeshaan aan tiifiga ka fiirsaday aan soo aaday aan saasaan ugu imid
maxaad ka rajaynaa hadda qalitaanka ka bacdi marka lagu qalo maxaad ka rajaynaa noloshaada inay iska bedelanto
insha Allah in nolosheeda isbedel galo fiican aan ka rajaynaa oo ku fiicnaado aan ka rajaynaa
iiga sheekay xoogaa yar noloshaada sidaa u bedelantay iyo dhibka ku soo maray markaad furantay
wallaahi rafaad badan ay soo maray aniga kaadida ma ishakeen wax walba ma ishakeen waan xanuunsaday rafaad badan ay soo maray isbedel ay galay niyad jaba qalaba taas intaas soo maray wax ii qabtana ma arkin rafaadkaas intana ilaa 30 bariya jooga aan dhaqaatiirta hadda asbuucay hada imaata dadka wax u qabatay
anagii yaa ku hay
markii uga dhintay
ما انت بريك وسوقات سفرك
سفرك wuxuu soo qaatay shambari ugu soo qaatay inta soo socda shambari gaari aan soo socday
in shanta soo bari gaari aad saarnay
gaari aan soo santas bayaan soo socday aad ugu rafaaday dadka dhan waa in yajibiya ayaga waa iga waswaseen aniga waan iska niyadjabay inta markaa ibn dad oo la sameeyay marka arkaa waa farxad weyn ay soo gashay ilaa haddana iqalinka ku socdo ayuu imaanayaan insha Allah
hadda insha Allah qalitaanka markaad marteed maxaad mustaqbalka ka rajaynaysaa
mustaqbalkayga inaan waxaan ka rajaynayaa ilaahay wax fiican ila soo ilaahay wax fiican isiiyo ka rajaynaa oo ku reysto ka rajaynaa
All right, so I'm outside of the operating theatres. There are only 2 of them, and they have back-to-back surgeries, about 20 happening today, and they're actually happening simultaneously in these 2 operating theatres. So I'm going to have a look at what they're going to be doing. It won't be my first time observing a surgery, so I'm okay with blood and all of that sort of thing, but it will be my first time observing a surgery on obstetric fistula, so I'm actually quite interested to see what they do in there. So follow me.
Later that day, Ayaan went to see a patient who had undergone surgery, and she was in good spirits. Later that day, Ayaan met with locals from the neighbouring community at the Dainali General Hospital meeting hall, where they discussed some of the health issues facing women in Somalia and those affected by the obstetric fistula condition. Afterwards, Ayaan accompanied 16-year-old Kaltuma Mohammed Nur to the hospital, where unfortunately she was told that she couldn't be treated due to the advanced state of her condition. Ayaan spoke with Dr. Maysoon Ahmed Mohammed, a fistula surgeon who spoke about the important work PAC is doing in the region.
Fistula is a disease that's related to difficult labor, and it's particularly common in the developing countries. So campaigns are a means of bringing the optimum care to those in need, because they don't have it where they reside. So we volunteer for organizations like PAC, Physicians Across Continents. So we can go, patients cannot come to us, so we go to them.
So, Ayaan had now come to the end of her emotional journey in Mogadishu and shared her final thoughts.
So listening to the stories that the women have shared with me was a little bit hard to hear. I think because, you know, any one of them, you know, could have been an aunt of mine, you know, a cousin. There's that familiarity there, and to hear that, you know, some of them end up losing their child during labour, and that there wasn't any medical help available for them there, or that they had to travel, you know, days on end just to get to the hospital. And, you know, hearing how isolated and lonely they feel because some of them, you know, whose husbands have walked away from them, you know, once they'd lost the child, and they have the issue of having to live with the obstetric fistula, and just how undignified it is for them to have to live a life where they can't go out because they have to be at home, because there's no other way for them to, you know, go out and do the normal everyday things, you know, going to the shops, you know, seeing friends, because they have to constantly change themselves because they have no control of their bodily functions. It's just, it makes you think about how lucky you are that you're in a place where the hospital is just close by, that you know when you arrive there that you'll get taken care of. You know, as much as we like to complain about, you know, the waiting times and things like that, I don't know how they manage to do it, because they all seem to have a sense of hope. I mean, they acknowledge what they've been through, but they also have a sense of hope, and, you know, and they still manage to be thankful for the life that they have. So I don't know, I think there's a lesson in that for me, certainly.